Hello and welcome to High Point Music's gear reviews. I'm Lewis and today I'm going to be taking you through the Boss CP1x compressor. So the CP1x compressor is one of the MDP range of Boss's pedals, the multi-dimensional processing. We've done reviews on their Terra Echo and multi-overtone pedal that you might be able to find on our YouTube channel. This is a reissue of their classic sort of Stompbox sounding or Stompbox designed pedals, kind of halfway between a studio compressor and a pedal compressor. And what I mean by that is it's got some easy to use controls, but it's very intuitive under the so-called hood. So it's a great way to reduce the dynamic range of your playing. It will take a little bit off the top of your signal, as in reduce the volume a little bit, and it can take the quieter parts of your playing and increase the volume of those as well. In previous models of compressor pedals, they tended to be very noisy and tended to get very muddy sounding because the bass frequencies will affect the compressor more than the treble in some instances. This particular version of the pedal, using that multi-dimensional processing that Boss has been developing on these new pedals, means that it's actually a lot more transparent and a lot smoother of a response. Because it's a multi-band compressor. So it splits your signal up into frequency ranges and processes each of those frequency ranges separately. This is really good if you're playing a variety of music styles. If you want to play some metal, you can use this to keep your picking dynamics really high and make sure that that amplifier is getting a very consistent signal for those super tight, crunchy rhythm tones. It's a great way to add some sustain to some lead sounds, and it's a really good tone shaping tool. So you can get some snappy, poppy or funky sounding guitars with a compressor pedal. So you'll find it on funk records, pop records, alternative stuff, and a lot of country as well will use that snappy tone to brighten up the guitar sound, as well as give you some better response with your picking and your fingers, make that nice and even. I usually use a compressor on my rig to help my guitar signal stay consistent into a pitch shifter, helps it to track a little bit more, and I've also used them to stop my amplifier from going into too much overdrive on the distortion channel. So let's get into it and show what it does. So today I'm playing my Fender Stratocaster. We're connected to the input of the compressor. The output of the compressor is running off to my 2 notes Clean preamp. This is what my clean tone sounds like. We've got my bridge pickup, some neck. So the controls on the pedal, we've got our level control on the far left that controls the overall volume of our output signal. We've got our attack control. Now the attack control controls how quickly the compressor effect takes. So if you've got it turned all the way down, it'll take the attack off your pick. If you've got it turned all the way up, you're at the attack. That really sharp pick sound will come through straight away. That's a really good control to use to manipulate the tone of your pedal. We've got the ratio. Now the ratio controls how much compression gets applied to your signal and how quickly after the dynamic range increases. And then we've got our compression on the far right. The compression tool, or the compression control, is actually our threshold level, and that knob is used to set the point at which your compression will start. So you can set it really low and have lots of compression, or you can set that threshold really high and the compression will only kick in once your playing dynamics reach a particular level. So I'll show you some poppy clean tone sounds and show you the range of the attack control. We start out with the attack all the way down and it sounds like this. And as we turn that up, you can hear that the attack changes very quickly there. A little bit more. And a little more. So you can see that the meter on the front is showing you how quickly that's coming in. That's a great little addition to help you add some subtlety to your compression settings. A really great Pink Floyd sound is to have that sort of attack right down for your lead tones. just evens everything out and gives you that really poppy, funky kind of sound. So I tend to have the attack down reasonably low. The ratio is the next sound up, and that is how heavy the compression is that I mentioned. So all the way down is nice and subtle. More. Straight away you can hear that compression kicking in a little bit quicker and swashing us down a little bit more. A little higher. So as I strum gently, you can see the compressor is still kicking in a fair bit there. The ratio is kind of one of those things that you'll need to play with your other pedals. So if you're using a lot of distortion or maybe a distorted amp, the ratio is a great thing to really make sure that you turn up and then turn down and find a sweet spot in the settings. And then the compression, of course, the threshold. If we set the ratio fairly high and the attack down a little bit to make that more obvious, we turn that compression all the way up, raising our threshold. I'll show that down a bit. You can hear that that threshold is really high now. So again, the compression control is the threshold level. If it's all the way down, the threshold's very high and the compression won't start until our dynamics reach the maximum. So you can pick gently. And as you pick harder, the compression will start to come in at a higher point. Dial that up a bit. You can see on the meter that gain reduction starting to come in as we go a little harder. So I go up a little bit more. It's getting pretty squashed. And then I'll push that all the way to the top so you can see that coming in. So we're achieving maximum gain reduction there, and the compression is starting as soon as we start picking. So depending on what guitar you're using, if you're changing guitars, this is a great control to just level everything out, keep everything nice and consistent. The other thing you might like to do with the compressor is only use it on certain guitars. Maybe you've got a hot pickup or changing between humbuckers and single coils. It's a really great tool you can add to the rig once you've learnt to use it sparingly. Again, the CP1x is a very new pedal. It's nice and quiet, and these controls are interactive or intuitive. They're interactive. So what that means is you adjust one thing and some of the other parameters change as well. So it's got a lot going on underneath, but it's still nice and easy to use. I think that makes it a pretty great compressor pedal. It's a great tool if you want to keep your amp from getting too distorted. Make sure your guitar's nice and even levels, changing guitars or just using one guitar. Maybe if you're changing picks or changing between different types of finger style, it's a great way to keep that nice and even. And it does add some great tonal qualities to particularly a clean guitar, country, pop, rock, surf music, anything that's got a clean tone. You can really dial this in subtly, but get that nice funky tone out of it. So there you go. That's the Boss CP1X compressor. If you're interested in checking one out, you can follow the links below. Don't forget to follow our social media, and if you've got any questions or suggestions, you can get in touch with us there and ask those questions, etc. If there's anything you want to see, let us know in the comments as well. We do appreciate it, and if you want to know a little bit more about it, you can head over to the blog on the website where I'll go into a little bit more detail about what the compressor does and how you can use it. Thanks for watching.